So I thought I'd do another segment today and talk a little bit about this article from The Atlantic that I found. So, the strongest evidence yet that an animal started the pandemic. A new analysis of genetic samples from China appears to link the pandemic's origin to raccoon dogs. By Catherine J. Wu. Yeah, it's a bit much for me. I don't know, man. Just something about the fact that you had the Wuhan Institute of Virology with its whole coronavirus lab being based in the city of Wuhan, a mile from the wet market where supposedly COVID originated. It's an awfully big coincidence to just kind of believe in, right? I don't know. I think it is. Let's move on. For 3 years now, the debate over the origins of the coronavirus pandemic has ping ponged between the two big ideas that SARS CoV 2 spilled into human populations directly from a wild animal source, and that the pathogen leaked from a lab. Through a swirl of data obfuscation by Chinese authorities and politicalization within the United States, and rampant speculation from all corners of the world, many scientists have stood by the notion that this outbreak, like most others, had purely natural roots. But that hypothesis has been missing a key piece of proof: genetic evidence from the Wuhan seafood wholesale market in Wuhan, China, showing that the virus had infected creatures for sale there. Yeah. So I have to apologize for my stuttering and reading that, but yeah, basic speculation is that they're saying that, well, maybe it came from the seafood lab, or it's coming from the seafood market. I really do not believe that at all, personally. And so basically, the gist of it is that they analyzed the DNA of this virus that China was holding on to when COVID first started spreading, and they said, hey, look, we found some raccoon dog DNA in there. And look, raccoon dogs are also being sold here in the market at the time that the virus outbroke. So maybe it was raccoon dogs that spread the virus. Sorry, I don't really believe it, personally. Like, I hear that, I'm just like, it's just speculation. You're saying that, okay, so this article says that there's like 1,000 raccoon dogs who were there at the time that this thing was being sold. So it's 1,000 of these things, and you're speculating that maybe one of them was infected with COVID-19, and then that's how it managed to spread around, right? I don't know. I really don't believe it. The odds that you have an entire coronavirus lab right next door, to me, says, yeah, I think someone at the lab screwed up. I think someone actually accidentally let the research project out and started infecting people. And I think that's part of the reason why you might have seen so much authoritarian crackdown in China early on, because, technically the government is a little bit responsible for what happened, and so it's kind of embarrassing. But, that's just speculation on my end. They're speculating too, and I think their speculation is without evidence. They're saying, well, maybe some of these raccoon dogs could have done the job, but I don't believe them. I just don't believe that. I do, however, some faith in the U.S. Department of Energy. NPR. U.S. Department of Energy says with low confidence that COVID may have leaked from a lab. Yeah, low confidence. Key words there, meant to kind of discredit the idea. But let's go down and just kind of, I already did this with the word likely. Let's just see where the word likely pops up. So you have what's going on. It's an interview essentially where you have, let's see, the NPR journalist, and you have this Greg Meyer from the science team and the U.S. Department of Energy. Who is it? I don't know. There's a U.S. Department of Energy official here, I think. So, all right. So this is Alyssa Cheng, the host of the conversation. All right. So this is all very confusing. Greg, can we just start with you? What exactly in this new assessment for the Department of Energy, and why are you hearing about it only now? Oh, okay. Well, maybe they don't have a Department of Energy official. Maybe I just kind of don't remember that correctly. Anyhow, here's what they're saying. It's classified. So these folks didn't share the evidence that apparently persuaded the Department of Energy to change its assessment to say that they now think it's most likely that it was a lab leak that started COVID. Previously, the Department of Energy wasn't taking a position between the two main possibilities, one being natural transmission from an animal to a human, The other being that this potential lab leak, possibly at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, which studies coronaviruses. So yeah, two conflicting statements here. I think the headline is a bit deceptive. They're saying it's low confidence that COVID may have leaked from a lab, but they're also saying that it's the most likely scenario. So while NPR clearly points out that, well, the scientific community, yada, 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 believes that it came from a natural origin, the Department of Energy is saying another thing. Now, various government agencies say different things, and the Department of Energy is significant in this regard because it does control a lot of science labs like this. So does the Department of Energy control biolabs? Department of Energy, Office of Science National Laboratories, National Review, the Energy Department lab investigating COVID. So yeah, it kind of looks like it does. Let's look at the Department of the government website from Department of Energy. Excuse long-term scientific abilities develop sustained critical. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't here that I read it originally, but I do know that I heard or that I read somewhere that it said that, yeah, the Department of Energy runs science laboratories, and some of them relate to virology like this. So when the Department of Energy basically comes out with an opinion as to where it thinks COVID originated from, that's significant. It's not just some random agency. Now, I think the CDC says something opposite. But the Department of Energy is qualified on this subject to come to its own determination. And yeah, I'm going to say 2 + 2 = 4. Coronavirus outbreak in a city with a coronavirus lab. Yeah, I'm going to go with the possibility that it probably came from the lab. Somebody was doing a research or an experiment and they screwed it up and it got out and people got sick and a few of them died. I don't know. Sounds pretty embarrassing or scandalous, if you ask me, and plenty of reason why, I don't know, China would not want to admit to that. Imagine if they did admit to that. Imagine what the potential consequences of that would be. Hey. I mean, imagine, so in a hypothetical scenario, say that China admitted that, yeah, no, we're responsible for that virus getting out and infecting people and killing some of them. Imagine what other nations would have to do in response to that. The U.S. is heavily dependent on Chinese trade. Imagine, like, with all the lockdowns and the vax mandates and all the political drama that ensued over COVID, imagine what the United States would have to do in order to maintain some kind of social stability about that kind of information. I mean, hypothetically, say that that China admitted that, oh, just basically came out and said, yeah, we are at fault for this. We did it. The U.S. would have to pass sanctions or do something or cut off trade with China or demand something in the form of reparations for all the economic damage that COVID caused. And of course, in turn, China says, well, we manufacture stuff for you. We are your manufacturing center because you were kind enough to ship a lot of your manufacturing jobs to us. Past sanctions on us, and we'll just respond by, I don't know, not sending you stuff. Imagine what kind of consequences that would have for the U.S. Imagine how long it would take for us to get that manufacturing capacity back. It'd take a long time, man. So yeah, when you think about it that way, it could be in the best interest of all sides, basically kind of say, maybe it's a natural origin. But again, that's speculation. But the same goes with this Atlantic article. They are also speculating. They are saying, well, these samples of virus have some genetic sequences of raccoon dogs. So therefore, maybe, a new analysis of genetic sequences collected from the market shows that raccoon dogs being illegally sold at the venue could have been carrying the possible shedding and possibly shedding the virus at the end of 2019. Okay. Doesn't really prove anything. Could be. Keywords there. Doesn't mean they were. I mean, the virus starts going around, the raccoon dogs pick it up too. I mean, this is also kind of a case of, well, did the raccoons get it first? Raccoon dogs have it first? Or did they get it from the humans afterward? Because this COVID spreads really fast, as we've already been able to determine. It's pretty infectious. So maybe the raccoon dogs caught it from people. Maybe it's not the other, or maybe it's the other way around. But point is, the Atlantic, based off this information, is speculating. So I don't know. I think I'm entitled to speculate about the same subject. Anyhow, if you stuck around for my little rant this long, thanks. Again, this channel is just a hobby channel of mine. I do it because I like reading the news. I like talking about the news. I don't really do enough of that in my daily life, I guess. So I kind of get stir crazy. So I'm like, I want to talk about this. So I guess I just kind of sound off into a microphone for about 10 minutes at a time. Anyhow, thanks for listening. Stay safe and have a good one. Bye.